Hello, guys, gals, non binary pals. My name is Andrew Otway, and it is my exquisite pleasure to bring you our second episode of The Burning Wheel that we're calling, I believe it's Burning the Kingdom of Ash if you trust our overlay, or Blast Heath if you go by our campaign name.
Graperies of Wrath, I believe, was my pitch, but didn't stick.
I exercised my veto. Also, for those of you playing along at home, tonight I will be drinking La Fin du Monde. It's a lovely 9% triple.
I'll be wimping out and drinking this non-alcoholic lemonade.
Shandy. It's the summer. Just got water. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. This is a virgin shandy. We're going to call it that.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is rather lovely. But I'm going to stop talking and reacting to my beer now and let other people introduce themselves.
Guess I'm usually first.
Yeah.
So, hi, I'm Adam. I will be playing Magnus Luciano today, a merchant of some renown who knows how to buy things and hopefully not get stabbed, because I have no defense against that. Unless, wads of cash can be effective armor.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it's thick enough. I mean, that one guy stopped a 45 round with a phone book, so just stack enough of them together and it's probably fine.
I'm in the middle of a burp. Hi, I'm everybody. I'm Mike Jerickson Berard. You might remember I play games. They're fun. Sometimes I run them. I'll see you on Thursday for that. But today I'm playing Margareta Fabri, and I need 14 syllable names, like Margareta de la Bourguignon Fabri or something like that. She's a spy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zach. You would probably recognize me from anything that you watch around here. I am playing tonight Indiso de la Vino, proprietor of the Two Tusks Grapery here in the Thundering Valley.
She said grapery again.
I hate you so much. Just gonna...
Anyway, I'm an up-and-coming graperist.
You might wish to reconsider that job title. Just...
I thought for sure you were going for grapist, and I was like,
No. Well, we'll see y'all next week, folks.
Anyway, I have somehow procured ownership of a place wherein wine is made, and I am attempting to use it to weasel my way into power in the Empire, essentially. So that's just that.
I mean, that's what power is there for, right?
Mm-hmm. The weaseling.
To be weaseled into.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. All right. And we should probably go over your bits. Which is to say your beliefs, instincts, and traits. Would anyone like to go first? We should probably go in the same order so it's less confusing to people.
Sure. Magnus will go first. So, Magnus's beliefs. First, that non-citizens should not be allowed here. I'll drive them out of business. Belief 2, I must preserve the citizenship. I'll bring together the old families by restoring the Merchants Guild. And 3, one can never have enough wealth. I must add to my fortune by diversifying my holdings.
What are your current holdings like? I'm curious to find out.
So I feel like the most of the fortune was built on I don't know what kind of local stores you would have there, but I'd say maybe kind of like the Walmart of this town.
Okay.
Someone who's kind of built on the
JoJo Mart.
The general store of this area, but better.
Okay.
He's probably revolutionized something.
The Costco?
Yeah.
The Costco of the Thundering Valley?
I'm not sure. But something like that. It's more of like a general store. But
You're the London drugs of Blast Heath. Good.
Okay, so then instincts. I never pay full price for anything. I
Mhm.
refuse to lie to make a deal, and I'm writing my memoir.
Good. Awesome. And
And
then
then
traits.
traits. I am inscrutable, distracted, self-satisfied, and I have an affinity for business.
You also get the three cultural traits that we defined.
Yes.
So
the
you're
prideful, violent, and traditionalist.
yeah, and you can lean into those as much or as little as you'd like.
And I believe that's it.
Sounds good.
I should go next.
Hmm.
I'm playing Margareta Fabry. I'm going to try to add some more names in there because I feel like it should be like a million syllables long. But Margareta believes her beliefs are: I will win my father's favor by inserting myself into the usurper's court. I will disrupt the usurper's efforts by gaining access to their ledgers, and all change is rooted in chaos, and killing the tax collector is the first step on that path. Basically, Margareta's the daughter of a prince, not like prince. It's just somebody who controls territory in this part of the nation, the kingdom. And she's the disfavored daughter, so she's trying to get her father's favor back by reclaiming this territory, perhaps non-violently. Instincts are: I will pry every secret from every lip, never let someone get too close, and always be network building.
Nice. Just want to point out that I've named the tax collector. If you'd like to update your belief, it's Mr. Aloysius Smith.
And this isn't the one that I swindled the last time.
No, that was a mook.
Underling.
Yeah. Swindling Mr. Aloysius would be markedly more difficult.
Well then.
Because your gentleman, I believe, had a will of 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't a hard test. All right.
I have updated that.
Delicious.
So I guess that leaves me. All right. So in
Wait,
Sorry.
traits, the whole bits.
Oh, yeah.
I have traits too.
Go for it.
Her character traits are your lordship. She's of noble blood, cold-hearted, darling of the court, mark of privilege, and finally an aura of innocence.
And then again, traditionalist, prideful, and violent.
Where do I have those?
Those are the local cultural traits.
Yeah, those go under character traits.
Yeah.
On your sheet.
And again, character traits are honestly kind of like a one-word fate aspect, honestly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Where are those?
I've got them right here. Bing.
Yeah, but where do they go on my character sheet?
Oh,
They go down below your beliefs and instincts. On the information
character
tab.
traits.
Yep.
Okay.
I added one that's just named here.
Nice. Okay. So now I guess it's me. So Indiso de Lavino has the following beliefs. My cousin is my best hope for staying alive. I will secure her patronage with a masterful vintage. Money makes the world go round. I will sell my latest vintage for the exorbitant price that it is worth. And my dreams have power, and the next one will save me.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
no. Indiso's good. Indiso's doing fine. He's doing fine.
I almost wish like dreaming was a skill. It probably is for other species.
It might be.
But just so you could roll, like give you a massive ob for like a dream that just saves you, and then you just fuck it, and I have like carte blanche to just. But
yeah, but then I'd get drunk ahead of time and fork in wine. And
Yeah.
all that stuff.
well, and like get high because you used to be a cook, and so you get to use herbalism, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So my instincts are: I will always accept a drink if offered and inquire if none is.
Mhm.
When money is on the table, I will always demand more. And I will always follow my dream.
Oh, goodness.
My character traits are patient, off kilter, and then I have the prideful, violent, and traditionalist.
Mhm.
I don't know how violent I am or traditionalist I am, but I'm definitely prideful. I'm definitely that. And then I have my last trait is dreamer, which means that I have prophetic dreams.
Good. Great. Wonderful.
I'm like Cassandra Jack Sparrow.
But you have heard of me.
I thought I named the second one, but I apparently only named one of the two foreign trading partners, which are like these are like the elf-ass elves, the conclave of ancient arbors. These are the elves that look at the elves in the Kingdom of Ash, and are just like, "No, you have betrayed so many of our traditions."
Did you make it 20% more elf?
Yeah. And then I also thought I named her. I'd actually burned up the what do you call her? The aunt. She has a character sheet now, so if anybody would like to interact with her, she's actually fairly rock solid. Does anyone have a scene they'd like to see to start us off this week? And please don't say a dream, because I have no idea what to put in there yet.
I'm not gonna put Andrew on the spot like that. I mean, if we start with Endiso, I think Endiso's like frantically trying to find a decent.
No. We're starting with Adam.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, really? You're starting with me?
Yeah, totally.
I kind of want to.
Where do we see Magnus?
I want to see him bullying some small shop owner that's like just opened their store like next door to his supermart.
Okay. Sure. And is it someone from next, like from Silverhearth, which is the province that is occupied and renamed Blast Heath? I imagine Magnus's store is like like Thundering Valley Goods and Sundries or something, right? Like a good traditional human name.
Right.
This fucking dwarf moves in next door.
Are
And
the letters on his shop not even?
It's bilingual.
So it's got the dwarven runes on the top then.
And then smaller, it's got
Parentheses.
And that's why he got targeted by Magnus. Yeah, obviously.
yeah, I imagine he's probably some sort of specialized trade. I don't know, maybe like a leather worker or something, or some way. So this is something I don't know how dwarvish we want to rely on this here, like a mason or something. But
I have an idea. I think they're like a cheese merchant.
a cheese merchant.
Cheesemonger.
Yeah.
Oh, and I probably just like I know every dairy farmer and what is it? I don't know what kind of unit of measurement.
Well, in the
This
province,
area.
right?
Leagues.
In the
Yeah.
province, I'll make sure that you'll never get a single drop of milk to make your shitty cheese in my town ever again.
That's all right. So we use maggots here.
Yeah. Wouldn't it peacock milk?
Hand milk, please.
It's a nice deep cut.
So yeah, I feel like there's something like just this, showing this rather unpleasant side of Magnus,
Sure.
just to start off with.
Yeah, and you're just like being a piece of shit.
Yeah, but in a way that I'm leaning really heavily on my regional connections or knowledge to intimidate.
Sure. What do you want to get out of this? Like, if you threw dice, like, what sort of benefit do you want out of this? Do you want this person like demoralized, and then, or is this just you being a piece of shit and maybe like a tax collector's waiting outside for you, right?
No, I want to own part of his business.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're
Okay.
you're in acquisitions right now, right? Like,
Yeah, I'm
you,
in acquisition mode here. Like,
Okay.
if you're gonna open next to my store, you're gonna be using who I say to use for suppliers and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
giving me
Yeah.
cut of profits and things like this, and I'll make sure that you know.
Okay.
It's a nice place. I would hate to see it.
Well, and,
Yeah.
like he's sort of like he's stroking like the braided beard, this cheesemonger. And what's your price? Sure, you'll drive me out of
105.
business and all the rest of it. But you don't want me out of business. You want in my business.
I believe, or what's the way to put it?
He who can destroy the thing, controls the thing.
Yeah, it's more like I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to get in Magnus's head. Sorry,
Mhm.
failing. It's
This
less that he cares whether this cheese merchant's in business still.
Mhm.
More so that if he has to put up with this dwarf next door, he's going to at least make
Profit.
it profitable.
Well,
And
so
if
the thing I'm leaning into right now is the occupier cultural traits are like one of them is capitalist. So he's like, sure, name a price, we can dicker.
and I think Magnus will be fine haggling. He might actually offer him his connections, like say that he does know a local, if it is dairy or
Yeah.
of whatever stripe. He might provide an actual good connection to something, the supplier, so that there's more profit.
Is it a dairy farm or like a goat farm or something that Magnus owns a percentage of?
I'm not saying that's not true, but maybe he will be owning it afterwards, if not now.
Just really into the vertical integration here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely not a fan of you because you came in here like spouting off, but like I mean,
Mass, yeah.
well, but like to an extent that they've come to expect that from like their little cousins whom they're helping to uplift into like being a little patronizing, realizes that like a lot of this is sound and fury signifying nothing. He's like, okay, we can deal. Like clearly you have more money than me, but like let's talk brass tacks. Let me also quickly look how haggle works, because I think it's an opposed test. And
I think it is too.
you are probably much better at haggle than this person is.
I got all kinds of things I'm going to start leaning into because my rolls were terrible last time.
Well, so
Yes.
I'm also going to be rolling dice here, is the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how post test works. Versus test between buyer and seller.
Man, I kind of want to lean into Dwarven Greed for this guy, but no. You get more greed if you start out richer.
You do. You do.
It's very good. Skills. But yeah, you should probably start assembling your dice pool, and then I'm probably just going to like copy that and drop a few dice off.
I'm
Okay,
sure
so-
there's a special dwarven haggle skill too. There.
I'm trying to remember how this worked last time. So I start with the base skill of my haggling base skill is 5,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and then for every skill like tie in, I get a bonus, or just over certain numbers.
No, it's for every skill that you find to fork in.
Okay.
That makes sense to fork in. You you add a die to your roll, right?
Okay.
If you have a 7 or higher, I think it becomes 2.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that was close. I should really buff that skill then. Okay. So I can fork in persuasion.
I don't know if you get to if you came in being an asshole. Because persuade is the like, hey, you should do this thing because it's good for you, and you came in like, if you had ugly truth,
No.
yeah.
Then I I mean, merchant-wise,
Yep.
There you go.
I'd say I'm not sure if I can use observation for this, but just picking pointed notes about this guy's product. But that also might be appraisal as well.
Yeah, I think it's one or the other.
Okay, so I'll use merchant-wise, appraisal. What's that? Ooh, I hate how the text is cut off in some of these skill names.
Yeah.
Commodities-wise,
Okay.
I probably can.
So
So
merchant-wise, appraisal, commodity-wise. You've got 3 right now.
I mean, I could probably use accounting or administration to help make this deal actually good for him.
So some things you also like. Some skills you use sort of like beforehand to like set
Okay.
up future success. So like if you wanted to like do a check before having come here or something, and you're like, can my business actually take the load, and like moving money
see.
around would be administration, and then you'd get a bonus on this roll essentially.
Okay, so then
Um,
I'll leave that out then. That's
you-
fine.
You have a much better chance of success than this gentleman does.
And then I would assume the trait affinity for business might come in as well.
I think that's when you're just creating money out of whole cloth.
I
Is
think
it- I-
that's a call on for resources checks.
I have no idea what any of these things are, so I'm just throwing it out here for now.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's honestly best to ask and be told no than like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The other thing is, so the easier you make a check, the less valuable it is as experience. But if you want to acquire
Yeah.
this dwarf's business, then
I want to work on my. In this case, I want to make the beliefs
Mhm.
and instincts actually pay off as opposed to
Sure.
screw me over.
affinity for horses, sheeps and goats, spiders, business. There we go.
Affinity for spiders.
Yep.
I need to make some spiders out of whole cloth. Hold on.
The master of 8 develops a special kinship with his spider slaves. He learns their ways and habits. This trait adds 1 die to any spider-related stat or skill.
Yes.
I love this game.
Okay, now read affinity for business. 'Cause
It's plus 1 die on resource tests.
resource test. Okay.
So if you're ever like,
Okay.
so the haggle is probably going to adjust like how much this person wants for it,
Okay.
and then you'll make the resource test to like buy the business.
Okay.
You don't have to do the resources test right afterwards, but when you go to make that resources test, your affinity for business will kick in and you'll get the extra die.
Got it. Okay, so I'll do the 5 base plus 3.
Okay.
Appraisal, commodity wise, and merchant wise.
I will roll 4 dice for haggle.
Haggle.
So in the modifiers is the plus, right?
Yep.
North, and base obstacle is 0 because it's just opposed check.
So your obstacle will count as whoever wins gets experience based on the other person's successes. So put it into 0, and then we assess who has more successes. And yeah,
All right, I'll throw that then.
you crush him.
Oh, I see. There's your roll. Okay.
Yeah. So first things first. Let's
I'm
mark
guessing it's probably a routine check then.
5 dice, ob 1, routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you dicker back and forth with the dwarf. He's not particularly pleased that you keep, I imagine there's a couple more slights in there as you're haggling.
Yeah, probably like completely, putting down his business sense or something.
Short jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and like I can tell, like this business won't quite reach the stature to which it could under my tutelage, and yeah. So he's bristling a bit, but like, yeah, you get a pretty fair price out of him.
His beard puffs up defensively.
Yeah. Let me double check what haggle do on a success. You are not rolling siege engineer, though I kind of wish you were.
I've changed my business to siege engines.
The royal aunt who's not happy with how things are going, was almost the court attiliator.
Is
Okay.
that the That's the person who serves the fruit of the grapist, right?
That's the person who makes.
That's the grape shotist.
Yeah. They make the siege engines.
What's the wine server person?
That is.
Sommelier?
Yeah.
Sommelier. Huh, weird. Atelier?
Atelier is a workshop.
Thanks.
All of these resources are for people who don't, like, buy businesses. You're not
Well,
building a castle.
No.
You're probably not making a donation to the royal court to be considered for viscountship.
Although, as long as we got you here.
Pay and support for a bodyguard or trainer is Ob 4. I think this is probably Ob 6. And then modified down by your successful thing to Ob 5. Because you have haggled this person. So it's probably not an easy resources test, but it's also probably not super difficult for you.
Okay, so how do I do a resource check? I forgot. I have a resource number, don't I?
Yeah.
I have resource 7.
Okay. I mean, so yeah, I said 6 or 5.
Yeah,
It's 5
5.
ultimately. So that's not an easy test, right? Like that's
yeah.
So I modify that one again as well, or is that a straight flat roll?
so you'll get your extra die. Function, you'll get 2 extra dice on this. Or sorry, no, I've modified the ob down. So you would be rolling 8 against 5, which isn't fantastic odds.
No, not at all.
But there are things you can do.
Okay.
If you have cash, you can spend 1 cash for 1 extra die, or 2 cash for 2 extra dice, etc. You can roll resources to just fabricate cash. You can roll resources to make a fund, which is kind of like durable cash.
So I could do a resource check to make a resource check easier.
Yes. Because,
What is-
like, what you're doing is you're shuffling money around your businesses to make liquid cash to make it easier to buy things.
Where this comes back to bite you is later when tax season rolls around and you have to pay to maintain all of your stuff. You're gonna have stuff that sort of outstripped your own resources, right?
Okay, so I guess I currently have cash as a possession or gear, whatever it is. I don't remember.
Okay.
Does that get used up or does it just count as a modifier?
Cash is expendable. You use it and you get the modifier.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a money potion.
Yeah.
And what is the roll to make more cash?
I believe it's 2 cash is ob 4 sort of thing, like it's 2 to 1 resources tests. But I think you have to make more cash than you have. Let me
Okay.
find the resources section. But you've successfully browbeaten this dwarf.
Yes. So later on we can.
Yeah, so let's put a pin in this. We'll do another scene, and I'll frantically look up the rules for how you buy shit with your obscene wealth.
I mean, it's slightly less obscene now that it seems difficult to buy things that are obscene.
Yes and no. Daily bread-wise, good.
Daily bread-wise.
Yeah.
Will you give us this day or
Yeah, exactly.
daily bread-wise?
Resources, there we go. Counting
Yeah,
pennies, testing resources.
Generating cash on hand is on page 374.
Thank you.
Creating funds is just down the page from that. So
Okay, yeah, if the buyer wins, you may reduce the price of the item by 1 an obstacle. I was right. Fancying resources, cash on hand. You can produce cash. You can use the cash for your own test. You can give it to your friends and enemies. And then funds. So you can create a fund using your resources. Describe the form of this durable wealth: income from property, interest on accounts, a dragon's hoard, etc. Test resources, add an obstacle, double the amount of the fund's dice plus 1. So if you wanted to make a 2-die fund, which just means every time you like dip into that fund, it's like 2 cash dice, except it's more durable.
So maybe you have like a pool set aside for intimidating dwarven businessmen into selling you there.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the Civic Improvement Fund that we've created. The Concerned Citizens Fund.
It's the committee fund for the improving the posture and grandeur of our city.
Not the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Upright Citizens United. Too real, I'm sorry. But yeah, funds, like a fund is probably a thing that your character will have in short order if you continue making resources tests. But let's bump over to someone else. You can ponder cash or funds, and we can see what Margareta or Indisa are up to.
I mean, I'm not to turn Margareta into Belle in one episode, but I'm probably trying to like track the tax collector with the intent of finding a good place to have him mage his end.
Okay. So are you trying to make the ambush easier? Are you trying to figure out Aloncius's patterns? Like, what's the...
Well, I think that yeah, we'll start with like the goal is to you know how in all the heist movies where the armored car rolls into that blind alley and then they get out and they get the goods from the nearby casino and they put it in the car and they drive off.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to hit the tax collector in one of those moments. Find the blind.
You're finding the alley.
Yeah, find the alley where you can like jump them and then like put somebody else in the tax collector's feathered hat and send them on their way.
Okay. And so what you're doing to accomplish that is, excuse me.
So I am. I'm going to do 2 things, right? I'm going to start by.
Well, so let's see if we can get that to one intent and one task. So find the alley, or so is it like follow the tax collector at this point, and then the next thing is determine the alley, or is it?
Yeah, I think it's. But if we want to do like the whole preparation stage in one step, it's pay somebody to or follow the tax collector / bribe people to get more information about what's going around, and then or maybe the bribing comes in as like making sure that there's somebody turning a blind eye at the right point in time, or this merchant crashes into a cabbage stall, right, to create a small distraction nearby while the actual hit is happening.
I can't help but notice you have bribe-wise, but I think bribery is its own skill.
Oh no, is it really?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Which means you know how bribes, you're very book smart about bribes.
But I've never actually bribed anyone.
Bribe wise, without having bribe, is I've taken a lot of bribes.
Well, or observed bribes being taken.
I know how to solicit bribes. I know how to spot bribes.
Bribe-wise is a thing, but bribery is not.
Okay.
So, but there's going to be another word for it, though.
I think it might just be extortion at that point, then.
Extortion, haggle.
There's also bureaucracy, which could be considered the same thing.
Extortion is a popular skill at parties. It helpfully lists in the skills section.
I think I am an extortist.
You are. You have extortion. Using it, you can threaten friends and enemies alike so they pay you to remain safe and healthy. Makes a great way to recover taxed resources.
Puns.
Well, no, taxing resources is what happens is when, say, Adam fails this upcoming resources test. You'll probably still acquire the dwarf's business, but like you bought him and he was underwater or something, or like it's not profitable, or maybe he was getting like government grants that have suddenly evaporated because he was a citizen of Silverhearth and you're not.
Yeah, but I'm hurting a tax collector, so
Mhm.
I'm. It's much more surface level pun.
I guess. I'm also trying to teach mechanics to myself and others, Michael.
Oh, right. Shit, I shouldn't have made the joke.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so I guess it's gonna be extortions and stuff as well. Like, I don't know if it's inconspicuous or observation or stealthy.
Well, what do we see you doing?
So I think the whole thing with Lady Margareta Agnesia de Ferbury is I'm gonna keep adding names in there.
Please
as we
do.
play. Every session, 2 more names. So I think like her thing is that like I need more costumes, or like is there like a costume wise or something
There is
like that?
disguise. There's disguise, then there's disguise wise.
So I somehow Margareta is just fades into the background.
That would be inconspicuous. Inconspicuous is disappearing into a crowd.
Yeah. She's never, despite being of noble birth, she's able to just kind of hang out with the common folks and not get noticed because she's like shy and likes books and stuff.
It actually makes it harder for you because you have mark of privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
this
you
character
look.
is all sorts of problematic.
Well, because
Did we? Sorry.
so specifically, what happens with nobles is they have some identifying feature. There's something you do to your hair, or the way you dress, or like your speech. You have a posher accent. No,
Holding scar
no.
over the left eye.
Zach, this is gonna get real world for a second. I used to date a Jewish girl. I have stood next to her in a line when someone turned around and asked her where her horns were.
Oh, okay, no, that's not good.
So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put a nice red X over rich people having horns. Thanks.
That's fair. That's fair. It was just gonna be like
Yeah.
do you have like purple eyes or like something
Right.
that's a physical mark
Doing
on
stuff.
you?
Well, no. So every rich person has some kind of dueling scar on their face.
I mean, that was the rage, right? Of the French stick
Well,
fighters and the German duelists.
they-
Like they get all upset because if they got marked in the face, they're all like,
Violent.
They got well. So what if it's all the rich people went to the same like dueling grammar school, right? And then like graduation day, they get the little face brand.
I was going to go way more foppish than that and just have ritualized scarification as part of like the violent fetishist
Yeah.
thing that the highborn folk do.
They're they're prideful. They're traditionalist and they're violent. There is ritual scarification amongst the elites.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So yeah, you've got the badass eye scar, and now we know where it came from. I love that. If this was D&D 5e, I would give you inspiration for that, but it's not.
Yay!
Instead, you get a pat on the head.
Really want like an off-screen hand to do.
So now I have a question though, because like, what if a peasant has a face scar? Like, are they notably
Zach,
different?
don't
It's-
ask that
it's-
because right.
It's going to be notably different, or the peasant is put to death for impersonating a lord.
Because the
Right.
peasant got it from like a meat cleaver, and the noble got it from like a rapier.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Also, no, the noble got it while staring meticulously into a mirror with a shaving knife, but whatever. No, rapier, much fun, much better story than. Oh yes, I was. Oh, wow, we are so far afield, but I guess that's what Burning Wheel's about, huh?
We're defining the world in which we live and breathe. So this seems like you're doing an inconspicuous to set up an observation.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let me look up those things. Inconspicuous. Infection-wise, great. Quite simply, inconspicuous has the ability to go unnoticed in a crowd. Inconspicuous tends to be versus tests against observation. Inconspicuous tests are penalized under the following conditions. Garish or inappropriate dress? Probably not.
No.
Character is above below station. Out among the common folks, I believe so.
Yes, I am out among the common folks.
Character is not from the region. You are. Characters of a different race than those they are trying to blend in with. You are not. Excuse me. Okay. I think that's functionally redundant with what's its thing? Your trait, the mark of privilege. But let me check that both don't apply. So, what would the observation be of this tax collector? He's not new to assassination attempts.
And I would guess his perception is probably decent, being as how that's where all this like money counting skills come from, right?
I think honestly he's 6'4", will perception.
Oh. Okay.
Because like enough people try to bribe, flatter, persuade, etc. That Aloncius has gotten very good at detecting bullshit, which is will and not perception. So I mean, let's say an observation of 3. He's not going to be great at it. An observation of 3, and then you've got the +1 ob, so 4.
So my difficulty is 4.
Yes. Your obstacle is 4.
Rolling inconspicuous, right?
Yeah, and if you'd like to fork in things, that would probably be a good idea.
Unless you want to take the L and get the experience. Just saying.
Yeah, challenging tests are delicious.
So can I fork in stealthy?
Yes.
And that's probably it, right?
You got disguise wise, right?
No, bribe-wise, extortion, falsehood, firearms, foraging, forgery, inconspicuous observation, orienteering, stealthy, sword, orderly truth, read, write, interrogation, soothing platitudes.
Yeah.
Way too fast for you to even listen.
I love how you have those 4 Fs all in a row. They sound really good together.
Yeah.
Another fork for inconspicuous, if you had it, is acting!
This unholy. So I'll because they're like, it's in the book, isn't it? I can just turn to page.
Yeah.
whatever that
278.
packet is. 278. Open your tomes.
Mm.
Your golden tome.
It did not at all show up on your camera. There's too much light in front of you.
Yeah. It just like oh wow, yeah, it looked like fucking vampire, like me.
Yeah. It looks like me in direct light.
Yeah, forks acting. Okay, well we're gonna go with
and then
fork.
The forks in the list are things that always apply.
Right.
And then you can make cases for other things applying situationally.
Well, I'm gonna make a case for stealthy, hopefully.
Yes. Absolutely. You are trying to sneak around and you will probably be observed.
Alright. Well, that's alright, then I'll challenge this person to a duel for discouraging my name. So
it's a versus test against observation. Maybe you won't be noticed, actually.
Yeah, I mean your skill's higher than his, so
I think so.
How does that work? So modifier 1 or 0?
Your modifier is 1 because you were using... Well, they are probably rolling 4 dice plus 1 because they aren't alone and someone is helping them.
Mm-hmm. Does that mark of privilege come off of Mike's total then?
It adds to the ob, so it'll add a helping die to me. So I'll actually go up to 5. So I'm rolling 5 dice.
I'm also rolling 5 dice.
There you go.
It's very exciting.
Do I have a base obstacle?
0. And then we determine the difficulty of the test based on who wins.
Well, I only got 3, so I'm gonna lose.
I got 2.
Wow. And is that a difficult or a challenging or a difficult?
So you rolled 5 dice on 2. So I don't think it's actually that difficult.
That's gonna be routine, I think.
Routine.
Yeah.
What does 5 dice on 2 mean?
So you rolled 5 dice against obstacle 2. Because the
Oh, so
obstacle is...
I should have waited for you to roll?
I think it's fairly academic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the order of operations is, honestly. But yeah, basically versus tests aren't as great for experience.
Okay. I have marked 1 bubble in routine.
Delectable. How many do you need to advance your inconspicuous? 4, 2, and 1. I think it's... Okay, anyways, I'm getting into the weeds. All right, yeah. You blend into the crowd, and it's you notice that with the tax collector, there is at least one of, like, their muscle. The muscle don't seem especially bright, but they are, muscle. And a burly human with, a sharp and or blunt object is non-trivial. If you want to get close enough to sword him a question, like that might be something that you need to take care of along the way.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or not, you can stab him and run, who knows.
Stab jog. Jog stab.
Like maybe I could get a whole bunch of people to jump in.
Yeah, how's your oratory?
Circles.
Oratory. Because oratory is convincing, is speechifying to a crowd.
My oratory is not here.
404.
I'm learning.
Yeah. But yeah, you're able to follow. He tends to stick to the main streets, and I think it's honestly probably like a few hours you're following him. The muscle always stands outside. He doesn't seem to be picking up any money, but he goes into a store, is inside the store for a few minutes, and then comes back out. Marks a tick in his notebook, and the muscle just stands, next to the door, cross-armed, looking large and not intimidating, but just it's a job. They're there to do a job, and that's what they're doing.
Okay. So there's no actual money changing hands there.
No.
Okay. All right.
And if there's any visits into an alley, they're fairly brief. This is a person who's honestly mostly interested in stuff on the main drag, sort of thing,
Right.
like businesses, and doesn't cut through alleys especially often, but...
Okay. Well, I'm going to think that that's probably not the best way to ambush them.
Yep.
So I will keep following them and devise another plan.
Okay.
I'll think about it for now.
Sure.
Do we want to do another thing with Margareta, or shall we move on to the Two Tusk Grapery?
Let's...
It's over now. That is canon.
Well, it just Dust Grapery makes me think of the section where the Dust grapes get crushed by Dust boot. And that's what I was laughing at, was oh yeah, of course. There's your rival grapery up the road is Dust boot. This is what you've done.
Well, that's
only-
okay, because all of the orcs that work at my grapery are barefoot, so it makes sense that that their emblem is a boot.
That's their thing, is you don't get the taste of orc foot.
Orcfoot.
We have the finest artisanal orc feet in our grapery.
An earthy texture to the wine.
Adds to the mouthfeel.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, nice. Gross. So I'm sorry. Before we sidetracked you with Grapery, what was your question?
Mine, or...
Yours, yeah. Hey.
Well, I was just gonna ask what we see, where do we fade in on Ndiso?
I imagine that, in my head, after the talk with the taxman,
Mhm.
before that, we were clearly, hiding all of the things that we'd made that were going to make us any money, right? And so now we're like pulling those casks out of all of the like smuggler holes we put them in.
I imagine like they just come out of the wine cellar, and like the moop you talk to is just like, well, they wouldn't have any wine in the wine cellar.
Exactly. So I got these like burly orcs of various appearances, all sort of like carrying these giant casks of wine out on litters and putting them down, and I'm like tapping them and tasting them and preparing to win my fortune via my genius as a graperer. There's an excellent vintage as I like walk around with like, my glass that I never wash out.
So,
right?
Are you doing like tasting right now? Or are you trying to tell which keg is your best vintage? Like what do we, or are you just like organizing and arranging and like managing effectively?
So they at this point, I think their plan and what normally happens is they bring it all out, we look at it, we sort of put things in order. Indiso is just trying the wine to see sort of what strikes his fancy and what he thinks he's going to be able to, because some of it's just going to be like sold to someone to make a buck.
Yeah.
But some of it's going to be like the thing that gets him in good at court. Or
like I'm assuming you're pulling out like 3 or 4 kegs and like, one of them is like, you know, a great vintage, and then like 3 or 4 are destined for like the inn that is nearest, because that way you spend the least on travel costs.
Exactly, and I don't know which is which yet.
Right.
So.
This feels like. So you have wine tasting.
I do.
Let me look up the skill of Vintner, because that might be like telling which is like. Think I've almost got it.
Just past Vile Poisoner.
Good.
Artist who grows grapes, mashes them, and ferments them into wine.
Okay, so this is the actually making of the wine. Ob 4 is legendary?
Ob 4 is legendary,
Oh, no, sorry.
yo.
5 is.
Yeah,
Legendary
I got
wine, Ob
Vendor
5. Yeah. Forks, farming, and brewer, skill type, peasant, tools, workshop. Great. Okay. So Vintner is like the production of the wine. Wine tasting is going to be the one that we want here.
No, I've already done that. I want to know which one is the.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's probably wine tasting, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I might be able to fork in some Vintner.
Yes.
And some Grape Wise.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. He is wiser about grapes than he is good at wine tasting.
I drink it too fast is the thing, right? Like, I don't have the same.
You don't have a palate.
Wine is to be drunk.
Therefore, I'm always drunk.
Exactly.
These obstacles are modified by the quality and age of the wine. Drinkable +1, swill +2, old +1, ancient +2. Great. Okay.
Well, so what does wine tasting even accomplish?
Let's use this skill to determine the origins of the wine. So this is like, you're sitting... Maybe this is haggling or something, right? Like...
Oh, maybe this is like am I like building my argument for when I go and try to sell this to somebody?
That might be it, actually. This might be a Grapewise check to like determine, like, to form the argument that your wine is actually like specifically high quality, and then this is what gets you that bonus advantage on a haggling roll later or something.
Okay. Yeah.
if that feels fine. Like, alternatively, you crack open a bottle and like one or a like you know have a glass from each cask and like two taste like purple vinegar. One's drinkable and maybe one's good.
All right. I mean, I'm into that. I'm into that, like the complete failure of most of my wine. We just put the vinegar wine back for a while.
Well, like, I mean, do you want to roll vintner to see how well you've done? And...
Sure.
Okay.
I'll do it. I'll roll it.
Okay, so this is establishing the wine that you've got, how well you did producing it.
Mm-hmm.
Do I throw an extra obstacle at you because is this your first batch?
I think this is. I think that's what this is. This is my first like legit. I made this batch, or like my workers made this under my supervision.
Well, like if toe to tip, this is your wine, then I'm not gonna throw extra obstacles at you.
Okay. So I think I will be forking in grape wise. Wine tasting?
Probably. I don't know, because your wine tasting is determining where it's from, and you know where it's from. It's here. I also just want to point out that before Vile Poisoner in the list is Vein Wise.
Yep.
Well, and so what are we trying to make here?
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this was the plan all along has been to try to put together wine to like impress the royalty, right?
Sure.
Like, to impress the court and get in there. So I think what I did was I sort of, using my cousin and the various waitstaff that I still knew from the court, I put together sort of this idea of what the wine, the big muckety mucks at sort of the top of the chain, some of whom are no longer there to taste them, would want in a wine, like what their favorite qualities were, whether it was dry or sweet or blah 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 blah, right?
Sure.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fork in grape wise and palace secrets wise.
So we talked about this last time.
Oh,
Your palace secrets are the physical palace and not the court intrigue within.
okay. All right.
Someone into the court.
And then I'll just fork in grape wise. I think is actually the only thing I can really do.
Okay. What are you aiming for?
Um,
Because we determine the ob, and then it's do you succeed in making good wine, excellent wine, etc. Right?
yeah. So looking at this, that's the skills.
And I think failure is like it's swill, and you think it's excellent wine.
I think I'm going to shoot for. I'm going to shoot for legendary wine.
Ob 5.
So I can give myself to 6 dice. Let's go excellent wine.
Okay.
Let's go excellent wine.
So ob 4.
Forking in grape wise, I don't think cooking or persuasion, herbalism probably makes a whole lot of sense. Wine tasting doesn't apply here.
Stealthy.
Smart.
Very sneaky.
The grapes taste better if they don't see you coming.
Just go out and stomp them.
And I can always open into the test after the fact, right?
Yes, you can add fate after the test to see, reroll any 6s you get.
All right. And my ob is 4.
Mhm.
Nailed it.
Boom! Holy shit!
Wow.
I'm actually really good at this. This whole thing, the whole gig, I'm actually pretty good at it.
I mean, you're really good at rolling 4 pluses.
So that's excellent wine at ob 4.
Yep.
Okay, you've made excellent wine. This is probably the best wine you've ever tasted.
I'm pretty into that. Actually.
You were a genius. This is excellent wine. I mean, like, I don't know how you would have had access to better wine than this. Like, cooking wine is generally good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
this is excellent. So yeah, you've got a few casks of excellent wine and probably like a couple that are like just drinkable or good. But yeah, no, you've got at least one cask of excellent wine.
Okay. Okay, great.
Well done.
Thank you. Do I mark that down? I marked that down as a on my thing, right?
Yep, yeah, that's a test. So 6 dice on 4 is routine.
Ah, that doesn't help because I'm 5.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh, do you
That's
not get experience from routine anymore? You don't.
No. No, once you hit 5.
It's difficult and challenging.
Yep. So I will in the future.
You gotta,
Future.
you turn off your targeting grape-wise and
Pretty much. I trust my feelings on the
Or
wines.
just always go for legendary.
or yeah, you go bigger next time.
Exactly.
You didn't
Exactly.
roll any 6s either. Is the thing?
I didn't. I should have gone for fucking legendary. Oh well. Live and learn.
Yeah.
I made some pretty good wine.
You made
So-
excellent wine.
So yeah, I will be sort of whooping to myself a little bit and dancing a little jig, and motioning to my employees.
Who's your major domo? Like, whomever that orc is comes over and is just like, "Boss, you seem awful excited."
This is excellent wine. We need to get this to the court immediately.
And then you will pay us our bonuses, right?
Definitely, that's sure gonna happen. And I'm like saying this over my shoulder as I'm like,
Yeah.
essentially, yes.
I'm not gonna make you roll falsehood or anything there because they know better.
Yeah, no, let's get this packed up and let's go take this to someone who will appreciate my genius.
I imagine, yeah, you've got a cart for transporting your product and
Almost certainly.
maybe a couple like despondent goats.
Yes. They will slowly make their way up the valley.
Or are you lower
the
in the
orcs-
valley?
Yeah, we're down the valley.
Okay.
The orcs insist on sitting in the cart with them, so these two goats are pulling this cart with like six casks of wine and then like half a dozen orcs up the hill.
See, now I just want to rename your grapery to like the Despondent Goat Vineyard.
Well, the goats have tusks somehow.
Yeah.
Everything here has tusks with me, including the grapes.
Those are horns, Zach. I know that goat wise is not on your sheet. But
No, I imagine he's literally strapped tusks to everything.
Oh,
Like, he
no,
just
it's-
tied them on.
We're on brand, Mike. We're on brand.
Like one of them
why
is
am I arguing with the
crooked.
rapist, right?
One of them is
So
like
it's just
crooked.
just
And
hanging down. It's like it flops around whenever the goat's, trying to eat something.
they're
Or is it
made.
one of the
They're the horns. He's broken off the horns and glued them onto the chins.
They're-
one of the goats is like trying to eat the tusk on the other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like yeah, they're boar tusks that you've strapped to the goat, and one of them is eating the other one's tusks because goats.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, your cart sets off towards. So yeah, what's the first stop?
The first stop is the best wine shop in town.
Okay.
Like the best one.
You're just going straight for it.
This is going to be distributed 2 places, right? The ones where the rich people buy their wine, and the other ones these are the 2 places.
The close one.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
so I will pull up in my like a goat chariot, right? Like at the front. And they pad up, and I sort of spill slash unmount into the doorway.
well,
So, madam.
So, I have a question for Magnus then. Magnus, are you the best wine shop in town? Is that how you met the poisoner chef. So, the conspiracy to poison the prince, Einar Cragswallow. I honestly think either Magnus or Marguerite are the brains of the operation. And I feel like it might be Magnus, honestly.
I could be.
At the very least, it feels like you're the obvious go-between for Marguerite and for Endiso.
You're the one with like the legit contacts and resources.
Yeah. So I mean, like, are you? Do you sell the like cheap wine or do you sell the fancy wine? I guess.
No, I don't think I sell the fancy wine.
Okay.
I don't think. I imagine it's probably like. Do you remember from last session that lady that I went to the old?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine it's like her.
Oh.
Oh no!
It is
You're
her.
gonna do me like this?
Yep.
Oh no!
Excellent.
Oh no! She's gonna be such a jerk about the wine.
You made excellent wine.
It's excellent wine. You keep your faith in your wine.
You keep your faith in your wine feels like feels vaguely like Warhammer 40k. Like the look to your war gear, like have faith in your wine. Anyways.
Appease the grape spirits.
Yep.
The wrathful great spirits.
Just imagine you rubbing sacred oils into your bottles now.
Oh, well, you gotta polish them, right? They have to shine by the time we get up here. I've had like 2 of the orcs have been like the whole time polishing 2 bottles.
You hand her this bottle, it just slips out of her hand.
Smashes on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, you pull up at her store, and I need to name her. Let me also figure out what her will was. And she's going to have a haggle similar to Adam.
It was substantial, as I recall.
Yes.
It was no joke.
She's Adam's character given like another 50 years of experience, quite frankly. Like I kind of set you up to fail there a little.
Yeah. No. I mean, my 2 rolls were Ob 4 and Ob 5 against her.
Yeah.
Circles and persuasion, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you the circles made her fantastic, and then yeah. But you can find her whenever you want now. You can always just circles her up. Okay. Elf,
And now she's gonna have really good wine.
rich wine lady. Name plus. I think she runs some up its own ass elf name, like sommelier.
Oh yeah, and I'm pulling up outside with a bunch of orcs in a cart full of like goats with big.
You're
trucks.
pulling up in the back alley if you know what's good for you. Like there's a side door for exactly this reason.
I will come stumbling through with a freshly filled bottle of wine.
You're probably well and truly buzzed after tasting all your wines.
I'm having a good day. This is a good day.
Yeah.
Having some good wine.
Her business is the Echoing Blessing Sommelier.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh, that's real good.
Okay.
It was originally Spring's Blessing, and then I was like, no wait, it's Echoing Valley to the elves.
So she probably knew the former proprietor or the former business owner for your grapery.
Probably did. She probably did.
She's known them for longer than any of the 3 of you have been alive.
Is she actually running the joint? Like when I sort of like stumble in off the street.
No, there's a
alley.
person. There's a person who sees you and like opens the door. Excuse me, sir. Do you have an appointment?
No, but you will wish I did. Please, take me to your leader.
Zach, why are you so good at this?
They're like waving the bottle around. very dramatically. I'll doff my hat that I'm hopefully still wearing, but not definitely still wearing at this point because it was a long ride. Right?
I don't know that there's a role to get you in this door. There's going to be a circles to see like what disposition she has towards you.
I'm into that for sure. Yeah.
Because I feel like this is a character with whom you should also be building a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think there's a persuasion check to get in the door because this person clearly wants you inside where the noise won't echo down the fucking alleyway so loud.
Yeah, there's just like a half dozen orcs in the alleyway.
They all yeah.
Goats.
In my head, they're all like super professional and totally over all this, and like I'm the wild card in
Yes.
the pack of orcs.
110%. They're looking at you like, what an asshole.
Would you like a glass? And I'll like produce
Just
two.
please come inside, sir, and like grabs you like if you weren't drunk, it might feel a little rough. Thankfully, you are comfortably numb.
Yeah, so I'm imagining like a lot of my movement style is a non-combat version of like the Jackie Chan drunken master stuff, where like no matter how hard she like yanks me in through the alleyway,
Yeah.
through the doorway, like I'll just like stumble a few steps and like walk back up, still holding the line, and then I'll like I'll set the two glasses down on the nearest surface.
Okay.
As
I
soon
mean,
as I'm in.
like I'm imagining this is a fairly utilitarian like wooden hallway. There's probably like a shelf, but like there's shoes on it. So if you want,
Okay.
you can just like shove some shoes out of the way and like the two glasses down.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I'll pour them and I'll offer her one as I'm like already.
I can't. I'm working right now. You
You will live to regret this, I guarantee you. This is some of the best wine ever produced in this valley.
well, and like gets like a whiff of it, and she's like, "That's." Listen,
Can you smell the aroma of the orc feet?
I thought there was boots on the orc feet.
well, no, that's
Boots are up the hill.
Rivals of the boots.
yeah.
Boots are up the hill. This is organic orc feet. Organic free range.
Trust no substitute. Okay, let's see the circles roll.
Alright, so I don't get a fork into circles, right? Like circles
No.
is just
Circles is your circle skill versus an ob.
okay, what's my obs?
So broad occupation or same life path. This feels like that. Do we think she is of a higher station than you?
Almost certainly.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's plus 2 ob, so we're at 3.
Okay. Alright.
It's not unusual for this character, the time and place. Disposition, you're hoping to make a business transaction.
Mm-hmm.
You being drunk is probably going to be a penalty in future checks, but at this point, I think just getting into her office, that's...
Okay.
I think you get an advantage because, like, the major domo that you're dealing with, you brought wine to a sommelier to sell it. Like, that's...
Mm-hmm.
I think there's an
Yeah.
advantage there, so that's an extra die for you.
Oh, nice. I'll go back then.
What is
Alright.
your circles?
My circles is 4, 5
Okay.
with the extra.
Okay.
I'm shooting at 3.
Yeah.
Do you have a reputation?
Do you have
I
a...
do have. I
Okay.
have a reputation. I have a reputation as. Where's it at? Hold on.
information, I believe, and then down the bottom.
Reputations. Relationships.
So I don't know if you guys might have better stuff in your books, but I was using this PDF that I found, which is a very nice cheat sheet for these things.
I definitely have reputation. Where did I put it?
That's a great question. I feel like I want to really quickly scrub through the like recording of last session to figure out your reputation, but
I mean, I think I've got it written down somewhere, but it's like wild man genius vintner.
is it 1 or 2 dice?
It's 2.
Okay. So then you add 2 dice to this.
Okay. Use circles. Do I still get that 1 from my major domo?
Yeah. You've brought wine to a sommelier, is the actual reason.
All right. Obstacles 3. Or are we raising that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
She's not the highest ranker setting or station in the setting. She's in your circles. Does she have an uncommon occupation? Fancy sommelier might be like another 2 ob.
Okay. So I'm rolling at 5 then?
Yeah.
All right.
So unlikely to succeed at this, and she's just going to continue being sour at people. Do you want to spend a fate to reroll?
I would like to spend that fate because I can spend a fate to roll 1 more die against the ob. I will do so.
Beautiful. 4 or better.
Why would I not do that? I'll figure out where that lives here.
Fate is on stats and skills. And then down a bit, and you've got 2 fate.
No!
So yeah,
Okay.
the major domo says, "Ma'am, you've got a meeting. This is sir, your name." And I imagine you like stumble into the room a bit dramatically and like somewhat obviously drunk.
Ma'am, how do you do on this fine day? And I'll like put the cup that the major domo would not drink,
Yeah.
sort of sloshingly hard on a table in front of her.
Well, like a little spills out, like not enough to ruin anything, but it's enough to like stain like the top couple documents that she's got open. And she's and like pulls back a little bit so she doesn't get wine on her clothes.
Ma'am, you simply must try this wine. It is potentially the best that's ever been made in this valley.
Who the bloody hell are you barging into my office and feel free to...
Oh, please excuse my haste. I am Indiso de Lovino, and I'll sort of doff my hat. I am the proprietor of Two Tusk Winery here in the Thundering Valley.
Yeah, and she like... You feel like 2 points like glare into your heart as you say Thundering Valley.
I imagine that's the between that's the thing that really gets her, like the wine spills. But like,
I'm curious if you actually classed up the word grapery to winery just for her.
I don't know. I think maybe when I'm drunk and or performing, maybe it comes out correctly. I don't know, or maybe I didn't. Maybe I said grapery, and she fucking hates me now because she's actually an avatar of Andrew, and so
Wow. Listen, just because she's all enmity claws all the time. Yeah, no, like you feel like the like staring of daggers into you, and she says, "Well, I hope we at Echoing Blessing Sommelier can be of assistance." And she's gonna like daintily, pinky out, picks up this glass of wine, smells it, checks the legs, takes a slosh, swirls it around her mouth a bit, and then like pulls a bucket out of basically hammer space and just like into the bucket, and then just hands it off to the major domo who has like appeared there. Like at some point during this process, just like has appeared there, takes the bucket like in one fluid motion between the two of them.
While that display's going on, I'm going to empty my glass and then start filling it again.
And she's holding, and she's...
Huh?
Suppose it's true that even an ass can perform valuable labor.
I wouldn't know. We use goats.
Trust me when I say that they can, child. How many casks?
What did we decide? I can't even remember.
It was 2. I don't know.
Two. Yeah, two casks.
You're going to get some quantity of cash dice for this, I imagine.
That's what I figured, yeah. 2 casks are available for purchase, madame. Are you sure you would like more?
Well,
Pouring myself together.
she only took a sip from the glass, but she's holding it and like looks at it, and you're just like, yes, right? She's like, that's. Send my guards to Rodrigo, and you're just like, who the hell is Rod? Oh, the guy who used to own the. He has outdone himself this year. Bumbling assistance aside, and like,
Ma'am, you are aware that Two Tusks has changed hands. Yes? Rodrigo is no longer with us.
and she like looks to her major domo. Just interesting. And Enzo, was it?
Indeed so, ma'am. You may want to remember that name.
I may choose to, I may not. Like takes it like you see her like motion the glass a bit closer, and then she's like, no, can't show weakness, puts it back away. Very well. And then like, a price that is functionally 1 cash die.
Clearly you think me a fool, ma'am. This wine is worth far more than you are currently offering. There are any number of outlets in town that would be thrilled to have this bounty put before them.
I feel like
Totally
this
mention
is
my shop.
I don't know if that's advantage or additional obstacle. That feels like the haggle.
Okay.
And
I'm into that.
She's going to try to haggle you.
Less into that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, all I'm trying to do is improve your haggle here.
That's right.
I
I only mostly suck at it right now.
Yeah. Adam's base haggling is 5, so we'll just use that as a good shorthand. 5d6 greater than 4. So your difficulty is 3.
Okay.
So you just need to nail your roll again.
Yeah. Well, I would like to fork in persuasion.
Sure.
And wine tasting.
Well, you get an advantage because the wine is excellent.
Okay. Okay, so that's 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can probably fork in vintner or grape wise.
I mean, if you talk up like the grape growing process.
These were produced. These were the grapes. These were one of the last. This is the first new cultivar that's been produced since Rodrigo left.
If you call it the Thundering Valley again during your like description, though, like that's just gone.
This is cultivar of grapes has been developed since Rodrigo has left Two Tusk graperies, and we feel like this is a great step forward in our wine production. Can you taste the flavors of the grapes? It's earthy, almost toe fungusy. Sort of a.
It's all for the mouthfeel.
Yeah. So there we go. Got that.
Still
All
got
right.
Fate as well.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes here in a second. Shooting at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no!
No
I can't
sixes.
spin Fate.
And no 6s.
Can't spin Fate.
So I was gonna say that if you'd succeeded on the roll, it was gonna be like maybe it's a fund and not cash,
Oh, that was really good.
because she's just got a standing order to buy future casks that you
More.
produce at this. She says, like, sort of looks you up and down, and is just like, Mr. Dilavino, I appreciate and will purchase the casks you have brought me. Quite frankly, I do not trust a drunk, let alone even one of your apparent capability of Even one of your capacity of vintner skills, I do not trust to deliver reliably nor on time, and
That's what the orcs are
reliability.
for.
Reliability is key to my clientele.
Well, we will take that. We will take that under advisement, lady. Please make the check out to cash.
My major, my assistant will see that you are compensated. Have your laborers deposit the casks just inside the door, and we can consider this meeting concluded.
We shall. And I will sort of turn on my heel.
You've turned on your heel, and you notice her finally go for the second sip.
Store that away back here.
Well, I don't know that you see it. You've turned your back, and she's like,
okay. Yeah. I turn fast enough I have to grab my hat.
which you definitely have.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely you don't walk outside and see one of the goats eating it.
Maybe it's somebody else's hat. Who knows? Yeah, I'll take my monies.
Yeah.
And I will instruct my employees to deliver the wine.
They already have. They know how this goes.
All right. And then we will, once that is done and the deal is struck, we will continue our trip via goat cart up the hill with the remaining whatever amount.
Yeah.
To the court.
Oh, you're heading up to the palace, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with the wine we have left, we're gonna see if we can find ourselves somebody who wants to be a patron. And
Sure.
I'll be assuming she just handed me a wad of cash.
Yeah.
Right.
A sack of coin, functionally.
There we go. I'll start distributing small amounts of it, not the whole thing, because we have to actually run the vineyard on money, right? But these guys get some.
Well, I mean, you also run the vineyard on your resources.
It's true.
I have no idea what a tax check for resources looks like, but you've also made that easier for future. So don't let me forget that.
I will not.
I also just added one to your cash die. Cool.
Nice. Cash die.
It's right next to
yeah.
reputations and affiliations.
There it is.
Awesome. Do we want to take a quick 5-minute break and then do the back half of this?
I would be into that, and I will need to find out what my reputation was that's no longer.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we'll be back very shortly. Don't go anywhere. And we'll probably see how a stocking and a buyout go. Bye.
Bye. So,
And we are back. Yeah, a little less than 5 minutes, but yeah. Let's keep going with functionally part 2 of Burning the Kingdom of Ash, or Blast Heath, as we're also calling it. And I should probably redo the overlay with a finalized title and also choose a finalized title, but that's neither here nor there. So do we want to see a corporate bloody takeover, or do we want to see more Assassin's Creed Blast Heath?
I mean, Adam hasn't gone recently, so
Well, I was going to say, it feels like Margaret has had less screen time at this point, so...
I am more than happy to ask some creeds, I guess.
Sure.
Is that how you verb that?
Creed some asses?
Creed some asses, way better. I don't have the memory to just sing any Creed songs right now, but that would be the cue for that.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah, so I
pretty sure
think...
that's Stained, actually.
It is, god damn it.
Yeah. Since I've gone and fucked things up, just like I always do.
Just like I always do.
That's right there. Yeah, that's in the head. I think that I may go for some good old fashioned murder and track this guy back to his house instead of I don't actually am I a burglar? Do I have the burgle? Am I burgle wise?
I don't know that you're burgle wise, but I mean, here's the thing. You could probably roll up on this dude, slit his throat, gut him with your sword reasonably competently. And that would make for a lot of drama.
We'd also get to see how combat works.
However,
it's probably going to be a bloody versus test because this person is not at all combat trained, and Mike just rolls up with a sword. You have a sword, right?
I have many swords.
Like, actually in your gear and everything?
I have one sword, and it's not great quality, and that is of incredible wounding to my pride.
I was going to say, more than one sword is probably redundant.
Yeah.
I have a run-of-the-mill rapier, and that just makes me sad.
What kind of damage does this run-of-the-mill rapier inflict?
Pretty sure it's going to be power. I forget how like basic fighty stuff works. Even.
I forget how basic fighty stuff works.
I'm just gonna
because there's like 4 different versions of fighty stuff.
So there's the like quick and dirty, which is a bloody versus test.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a versus test, and just they roll something and you roll something, and you've got a skill and they've got a stat, so they need 2 successes to match one of yours. So that turns out that you're good at fighting people who aren't good at fighting.
Woo! Which seems to track for lords in this world.
Yeah. Well, and then there's also like fight, which is a whole thing, and it's kind of really cool, and it has a nice bit of drama where you lay down 3 cards face down and reveal them at the same time, and certain actions counter other certain actions, and it has a good bit of theater to it because you're sort of like trying to figure out what the other person's going to do, and like I would try to play them like, oh god, run the fuck away. Sort of thing. But Bloody versus Test is on 426. I have stalled for time successfully.
Interesting.
Rather than use a straight versus test, you can use this slightly more nuanced rule, the Bloody versus Test. This rule is for the quick resolution of a fight. In a Bloody versus Test, both players divide their weapon skill plus forks into other advantages into 2 pools, one for attack, one for defense. Each player then rolls their attack pool and then their defense pool. Success in the defense pool is subtract from the opponent's attack successes. Extra successes in the attack pool do damage as described in the weapons chapter section. Cool. Let's also find weapons. I'm also excited to be learning this game, honestly, and I'm glad I'm sharing it with some friends. Weapons are on 358, 463, and 547. It's a good thing we kept them all together.
The first one is a trap.
Okay. 463 might be the thing we care about, but I think it's going to be the last one.
No, 547 is the magical weapon stuff.
It is indeed the middle one.
Neat. Landing the blow, blah, blah, blah. Melee weapons, sword, weapon power +3. Character with a B4 power wielding a longsword +3 does a B4 incidental, a B7 mark, and a B10 superb. Neat. I'm going to say that if you roll well enough on sword, you murder the man.
Well, can I offer a thought?
Sure.
There is a chart of simple martial conflict. Where's that? Okay, so opponents disadvantaged based on their armament.
Yep.
Right. Can I propose the possibility that somebody with a sword just walking up to a tax collector who's unarmed and unprepared probably gets to count them as having no weapons and therefore gets a big bonus to their attack?
Yes. That's yeah. It's the successful check is you murder the person. I think this is what you do, and I should stop getting in the way of you having fun, and instead make you live to regret the consequences of your actions.
Yes, it's always way better.
Well, I mean,
when in doubt, apply the principles of good role playing.
short swords are power +2, like long swords are power +3. So
You can't really see how much is left in here, but I'm starting to get a bit punchy.
yeah. So
Buddy.
I'm. So yeah, I'm gonna wind up killing this person probably, and that's just fine because that's how I kind of roll.
Okay.
I'm hoping to use this to springboard into the other two beliefs. I just don't know because I was thinking like, oh yeah, if I kill this guy and I steal all the loot, then maybe I can figure that out. But I think I'm gonna track him to his home and kill him there, maybe, or
Okay.
yeah.
So you've already succeeded at inconspicuous at following this person around. So you can continue following them around to their home. You have done that thing. You have got that thing. That's what your success bought you. I think
I follow them until they're alone, I guess, basically is how that works.
I think they say goodbye. Like, they probably say goodbye to their bodyguard at the door. Like, I established previously that they have survived assassination attempts.
Right.
So they say goodbye to their bodyguard, and then probably very shortly thereafter try to shut their door.
Where do they live? Do they have their own, like...
It's going to be in a city. So it's like kind of dense, not super dense because they're going to be rich enough to have like a freestanding house,
and like walls.
Well, like they'll have like house walls. I don't know that they've got walls around their property. They're not that ostentatious, this person, although they are fucking named Aloncius. So, yeah, you can get this person alone.
Okay.
What does it look like? Like they say goodbye to their bodyguard at like the perimeter of their property.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I'm not. Do their bodyguards stick around, or they wander off? Right? Because
no, they say
like,
goodbye, like say thank you for the day, sort of thing. Wave their bodyguard off, and then they've got like a 30-meter walk to their door.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm now used to the Blades rule set. I keep looking for the command that allows me to like scale the wall into the roof and like find a skylight and get in.
You can probably get them before they get to their door.
Oh, so they? How's that?
Well, so like they say goodbye, like, and then 30 meters from their door, the bodyguard turns and walks off.
Okay.
Like they get to their property line, there's like maybe like a low wooden fence, like, you know, those sort of like fences that look like they're made out of driftwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here it's probably like old cannonballs or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yes. the fanciest houses have like cannonballs and well, like it's the pyramids of cannonballs, but they're also like set into
Quick mortar thing.
yeah, mortar. That was the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a low wall, like it keeps nothing out.
Oh yeah, it's for bruising shins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'll wait until they're like mostly to the door, and then I'll come like from the other angle, or like they go to open the. I don't know. It's got to be like dramatic.
Did you say anything?
I don't think I have anything to say yet because it's not like it's not going to be the Lannisters and their guards or whatever. Because, but this person is like intentionally working for usurpers /
And I mean, living in. I imagine this has like that thing that rich people in England have, where like the sufficiently wealthy houses have names to them. Like it's not 12 whatever street. This is like, I mean, I'll just go to the Canadian example because it's the one right on top of head. Like this is Stornoway or something like that, right?
Right.
Like it's a name. Like the address to get a letter here would be like Stornoway, comma like Blast Heath City,
Right.
Blast Heath Province, Kingdom of Ashen Rod.
Cannon upon the hill, blasty.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's. I think this is going to be named like something ironic, right? Like it's, like some poor person once lived here and like became rich by making cannonballs or something, right? Like it's like Popper's Redemption.
Okay, so this is the part of the what's the word, the drama that I'm getting caught up on here is now like is in the noble echelon, right? Is it is sorting someone like the noble thing to do? Like, is the rapier reserved for other lords? Like, I don't know that I'm honor bound to shoot him, right? But like, I'm trying to figure out like,
Lord,
is
stop.
that like a thing?
Lord, I think
What?
Lord. Well, let's go to our skills actually.
Because like, you can't pistolize other lords because that would be super fatal.
So here's the thing, and this is a skill that's probably relevant to your character's interests. Would you like to open Noble-wise?
Yeah.
And then you can define the setting as being like, yeah, you don't sword nobles.
Or vice versa, right?
Right.
Like I like the idea that the nobles are dueling, right? Because that seems like a noble-y thing. But like, it's gonna make my escape much harder if I pistolize the person.
Right. I think success on this roll, like metagame wise, because you're unlikely to succeed on this, most likely. I think success, like it's going to be a perception versus. I'm going to look up how wises work and how we define things in a setting. I also love that I say I'm going to look up thing, and Zach just dives for his book.
Well, I mean, I figured
It's
more eyes at once. Like,
It's appreciated. I'm 253 or 382. I'm going to look at
It's at the
382.
very beginning of the skills chapter.
Okay.
The first wise is like, all wises are like this.
Beautiful. So that's, I forgot what I said, 253?
253.
Beautiful. So it's going to list some sample obstacles for things, hopefully. It did not.
It's right next to it. Well, there are so many different wises that did not attempt to
Excellent.
describe them all.
Well, does it list sample obstacles for things?
When
to,
testing
like-
for a wise, if there is no risk of an interesting, compelling, or important failure, the GM should say yes to the request.
Okay. There should be another thing where it's like, if you're defining something small about the setting, it's this. If you're defining something larger.
I did not see that here.
Yeah, so that's going to be the other one. 382.
382 doesn't seem to have anything about that. 382 is about. Oh, yeah, never mind. Yeah, it's right there. Sorry. Wise is at the top of the page, but it's not what we're looking for. It's the thing below that doesn't say.
Naming the unknown?
Yeah. Well, that seems to be circles, though.
Thank you for joining us for this D&D podcast Burning Wheel study session. If you
I mean-
look to page 382.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'll just pull something out of my booty.
Yeah, I'll keep looking, but yeah.
It might just be under like obstacle or something, right?
Yeah, that's the sort of thing I'm about to go checking.
Obstacles to overcome is 14. There's oh fuck on 457. I also appreciate that fuck is censored. Thanks,
Yep.
Twitch, for not having adult things. Optional rule, oh fuck. Nice. This rule allows players to forfeit an action to freely change their current announced action to avoid or block. That's really good.
Oh, fuck.
You said 14 for the first one?
Mm-hmm. It's just how you do the actual.
Well, so
roll.
it's like absolute difficulty, right?
Yeah.
I think this is probably an Ob 2 Noble Wise test. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open Noble Wise, but it's going to be a perception roll.
Being learned, right?
Yeah. Oh, because you're also learning Soothing Platitudes. Good.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Noble dash wise.
Yeah.
So this will be
Perception, right?
perception, yes. All Wises are perception.
And I just roll.
Yes, you're rolling against Ob 2. This should double it. And you'll get the experience in perception as well.
Should I
You cannot fork into things you are learning.
so obstacle 4 you said?
Put in 2, and it will know to double it. Because the sheet has a little bit of fancy in it.
1.
Okay. So yeah, impaling this person is a death reserved for those of noble blood. Especially with a rapier. If you'd had, a cruder, like, short sword gladius, or, like, a sword more made for hacking, then...
Or just a hatchet.
Yeah, exactly. Then that's fair game. But, like, maybe you go... Here's the thing. You go for your rapier, and it feels wrong.
Right.
You can push through,
But
or
what?
like you can send a message and pistol him in the back of the noggin.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
fire
no.
your gun just has a chance to explode. FYI.
It's true. Good old pistol, good old
Can
gunpowder
be
dice.
Yeah, like he does that thing where in movies where they open the door and then they
Like-
close it or whatever, and I'm right there and just pistol.
Well, like goes to like open the door and like drops their keys, and we see like your white knuckle grip on your gun or on your rapier.
The the noble boots, right? Leather worked with gold or whatever.
Yeah,
Like, wait, what?
you absolutely have boots that Sam Grimes would be jealous of.
And I actually do think that there is a pithy one-liner that gets uttered there.
Good.
Like the North remembers sort of thing, right? It's because we're traditionalists and we're violent, right? And it's like Sic Semper Usurper or something.
Let's call this a write-off.
I'll take the standard
could say that.
deduction.
I guess you could say I'm tax exempt.
God. Collect this.
To accept lead.
Gunpowder
No,
dies on
no.
470.
You have to have the gun loaded in silver, though, because
Plata,
Oh.
plata u plomo.
Oh no, but that's it's too bad it's not like a blunderbuss. I can just kill him with coin.
Yeah.
That's also like
Okay.
that's more.
Before rolling to hit, pick up a die of fate and roll it. So just roll a d6 and pray it's not a 1. Cool.
It's a 6.
Okay. So
you live.
yeah, the gun works. So yeah, make a firearms. Does it just work? What bonus do you get on a bloody versus test when a person is probably literally pooing themselves?
Well, I think if because you get reach bonuses, right?
Sure.
By the way, I found the weapon like stat blocks
Okay.
in a place I didn't expect them to,
Mhm.
or two. But
Oh, I think I found them just now too.
if it's
Yeah,
just
they're
like
like way
if
back.
it's like a reach thing, like a weapon reach thing, like you've got weapon reach on it, right? Like
Yeah.
this is
It's a surprisingly hefty tome of role playing goodness.
Mm-hmm.
well, I've gotten out the second one now, so
That's the Heretical Chronicles. I put away your hymnal.
I love how
Yeah.
they're like book sized and shaped. Like I really appreciate that so much.
I am actively sad that it doesn't come with one of those lovely, like
the ribbons.
nice
The book-
cloth bookmarks.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Adam, we got to get you one of these.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. So this feels appropriate to have. You almost certainly have higher reflexes than this person. Your
I
reflexes
mean,
will
I
be on your
should
character
hope
burner,
that I would have.
which is down here. Yeah, you have B5 reflexes. This person does not have a higher average of perception and agility. But I want more fighting. Is one of the sections here. Okay. So yeah, you're adding 2 dice to your what do you call it? To your firearm skill. And I have no idea what this person is going to roll, but it's not going to be impressive. Zach, what's the punch skill? I know you know it. Brawling?
Brawling, I believe. I
Beautiful.
want to say
Which is probably just power and agility.
it's just power. It's just power. If you're real big, you brawl.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So you need half as many successes as this person to just shoot them the fuck down.
Okay.
They're assigning both of their dice that are worth half as much as yours to their defense. They get 2 successes. So they have 1 successful defense. So if you get 2 hits or more, you have shot them successfully on 6
And I
dice.
roll firearms, right?
Yeah.
Popcorn.
Firearms plus 2.
Can I like roll in observation or
Let's see if you can fork things. I don't know if you can in Bloody Versus. Appropriate forks, yes.
crossbow is a fork for firearm apparently.
Yep, because you know how to shoot people.
I do not have crossbow, so
Okay. Well, so
obs-
crossbow always forks into gunpowder. If there's other things that make sense at this point in time, like
No,
you said a pithy thing and then shot him. So if you want to argue for like ugly
Ugly
truth, or I mean stealthy
Yeah.
because you're shooting him when he doesn't expect you.
Yeah,
exactly.
like,
Yeah, I mean, I snuck up in
Yep.
front of him,
Yep.
and said a 51 liner and shot him. So can I argue for one or two extras, or
I'll give you 2 more. You're gonna murder this person.
okay? My modifier is 4 then,
Yes.
and my base obstacle is 2.
Yes. 1.
Okay, well that's good.
Wow. You're not actually very good at guns, it turns out.
I'm phenomenally average at guns.
I mean, 4 is not bad. You shoot him.
I got 6.
Yep. You got
And
if
2 ones.
so. You only needed 1. You exceeded their defense. Let me check because I looked at it recently. Spells as weapons. No. You have shot this human. This dwarfy human. They aren't wearing that. Target location equals chest. Good. An arquebus deals a B8 wound. This man is very dead.
Yeah, that's...
I think you should roll a steel check. Because you have just committed a murder.
Oh, I was thinking steals and take his shit, but you're right.
As Viscera sprays across the room.
Well, yeah, like
Is that that's a routine firearms check? I'm supposing.
yeah.
Hey, where's my steal button?
Let me figure out what your obstacle is, because your obstacle is your hesitation, but it's going to be modified. Which I think this was early in the book. Reasonably.
Steel obs?
Call my hesitation.
Like, steal additional obs. I imagine someone in chat is just, like, screaming at me as well as I just flip through this book for 5 minutes.
I can't stay connected to the chat, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
There's no screaming in chat.
Neat. Are we sure we're streaming on Twitch?
Yeah, we are.
I'm just being sarcastic about people who view streams on Twitch. Steel, 1991, 357. I'm thinking it's 357.
My hesitation is 6.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, it means you're gonna, like, stand and drool for a couple seconds and then get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
My steal, apparently.
Committing murder is just +2 ob. So you were making a steel test against your ob +2. So your hesitation +2.
So 8.
Yep. That's
Good lord.
well. So it's not like measured in minutes or hours or whatever. It's heartbeats.
Good thing too.
Because at the most you are going to stand there and drool for what 6, 8 heartbeats.
4.
Well, I mean,
yes.
depending. Yeah, there you go. So for 4 heartbeats, thump thump, thump thump, thump thump, thump thump. What does Margareta do?
Apparently, it's a 1 second. Weird.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you lose a duel of wits, you hesitate for like you take like 5 seconds because you've just like, holy shit, I've just lost this argument really badly, and like someone can use that time to cast a spell on you and other things.
Or shoot you.
Yeah. Yeah, you can shoot people as they're standing and drooling, right?
Or grab their sword and run with it. Like there's
Into you. Yep.
or just away.
Yeah. But yeah, you shoot this person, hesitate for 4 seconds, and then you hear like, I don't imagine the bodyguard was super far, but probably not immediately close. Like, hey, what the fuck was that? And like, alarm, alarm! And there's, I don't imagine there's guards super close, but they're not especially far.
Well, I think after I shoot the guy, there's something like, I was supposed to, like, the murder is fine, right? Because this was the goal, to create chaos and show them there's resistance and blah, blah, blah. But there's also, like, I wanted to use this as a stepping stone to the next portion of my plan, and I did not. Like, what am I going to do now that there's been a loud shot?
Yeah.
Run away.
Yeah.
Right? So there's probably part of it's fuck. Oh, fuck, I believe. This is like, wait a second. This was a bad idea, perhaps.
Have you played the board game Spyfall?
I have not.
It's a very good game. I finally got it to the table last week. In Spyfall, one person is the spy, and unlike every other social deduction game in which exists a spy, you don't want to be the spy because the spy has less information. So you flip up a card and it tells you a location and your job in it, or it just says spy. So if you get the spy, you get this like brilliant moment where you're just looking at a card and you're like, fuck, 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 fuck. Well, everyone else is like, oh, I'm at a casino, and oh, look, I'm the croupier, and like, I'm the pit boss. Cool. Oh, that's a neat bit of art up there in the corner. I should like make reference to that. And the spy's just like, fuck, 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 fuck.
Right. Neat.
So I think that's like sort of the moment that Margareta is having, is the like the regime hasn't toppled.
Well, it's not. It's like, well, this was no plan.
Yeah.
Is this a thing you've done before? Like, is this like you stepping well outside your previously established duties? So, like,
We have established previously that Margareta has killed more than one person.
yeah, but there's like multiple ways that can happen. Like,
Is this
Has
the
she
first
ever-
person you've killed not on a battlefield?
yeah, in cold blood in their own home.
I think this is the
Like-
first person that I killed, like, I don't know. There's a very much like sense, like there's an emotion for this, but I'm trying to figure out like what the phrase is. Like, on her own, I think.
Yeah.
Like, out of personal initiative. Right, not that she's been ordered to kill people, sure, and she's been killing people as part of an established escalation of nobly events, but like this is the first time she's run anything like a revolution by herself, right? And so this one's purely on her.
There's no orders that you were just following.
Right. There's no happy fallback, right? There's no like, oh, yeah.
And like, I imagine like part of the horror is he hasn't died immediately, right? You've shot him somewhere in the chest. It's a sucking chest wound. He will die very shortly. But like, you're hearing a person like gasping for breath and failing to get any.
Also, you now get the idea that if you leave and the guards show up, there's the off chance you might be identified, right? Like if this guy saw you coming,
But like nobody would believe it.
This is also a world in which not clerics, but wizards exist.
Right.
it's true.
A cleric existed.
Wizards with guns.
One sorcerer existed.
Yeah, and then I will wander off because that's what
I think that's a check.
to wander off.
Yeah, I think that's a stealthy or an inconspicuous.
Yeah, just leave by the front door and go inconspicuous, just like making your way.
Do you
If I had like several changes of clothes, like I'd be wearing the maid outfit, and, like screaming, holding a butter churn or something.
keep the gun on you?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's my only one.
Right. That's why I was trying to make it hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, stealthy or how isolated were you? Because that defines whether it's stealthy or inconspicuous. Is there a crowd forming because there was just a loud gunshot, and people in this culture know what gunshot sounds like?
I hope that it's stealthy because I'm on someone's property that
Okay.
is fairly well-to-do, that they theoretically do not share the property with other people, but I didn't check, so maybe they have a whole gaggle of kids and extended family.
Okay. They definitely have family, but let's see the stealthy. Let me determine your ob. I need to stop putting things on top of this book and thus making my access to it harder. Just open this book to the page Rituals of Blood and Night, and I want to just like drink that in for a second.
Tell me more about this page.
Orc magic is divided into two sorceress skills: Rituals of Blood and Night.
Orcs are intense.
Orcs are fucked up. They're good.
Yeah, they don't have like long-term housing. Of course, they're intense.
Well, that'll be all tonight. Again.
What?
Adam quits.
My orcs live in houses, so
Yeah, but you don't give them boots.
Stealthy
They are
versus
bootless by
observation.
choice.
Okay.
You like to keep your orcs tusked and bootless. Tusk.
So yeah, stealthy is versus observation. So let's determine your ob.
Oh god, chat has pointed out that summoning could totally bring that dude's soul back to questioning.
Yes. Yes, it could. There's also spirit binding in this setting. Thanks, Bad Quail. /R3D6. Actually, I think it was 4 previously. 4D6 greater than 4. 2 successes. It's your ob to sneak away from the scene of the crime. Do they get an advantage because you just shot a person with a very loud gun? I don't think so.
So my basic obstacle is 2.
Your base ob is 2.
I didn't actually roll anything, but I met it, so hopefully, or it didn't actually add anything in. So
Okay.
I imagine that, like, in my head, this is probably wrong, right? Because we called it the Thundering Hill or the Thundering Valley. I imagine there's enough gunshots that this place is sort of sounds like
But,
North
yeah.
Philly after dark.
I
Like,
think,
it's-
yeah,
and
that might be it, right?
and these people are violent, and these people are
Well, like, yeah, they know what a gunshot sounds like, and it ain't anything new.
Mhm.
So I think, like, maybe some of the noble neighbors are confused because it's like it doesn't happen this close to home ever, or like not often. Because if you're gonna murder someone in your own back lot, like, you use the sword, but this person was not sword worthy. Awesome. So there's definitely going to be an investigation. Still.
right.
I'm gonna have to
So I
figure
get
out.
away with 2 on 2. Is that how that works?
Yeah, you hit.
And that's a routine check for stealth, I guess.
Yeah. It rates. Yeah, actually, exactly. It tells you what kind of test it is on the thing. Did you mark your challenging steel test?
I did not.
Okay. You're almost
The
up
only
to steel
challenging
6.
test I need.
Mm-hmm.
I now need 2 more difficult steel checks.
Yep. Zach, you're muted. You are.
You just gotta go kill 2 more people.
Well, no, because they were challenging. You can't downgrade them. You have to find something that's like a difficulty 6.
Well, yeah, you gotta go kill them in, like, macabre and disturbing ways.
Well, no, that's more challenging. You need
Right,
to
like
stop
far
killing
away.
people and start like
Oh.
finding demons to meet.
Or torturing people seems less bad.
I don't know if it is less steel
I don't
or
know if
not.
it is either.
I'm gonna go run away for a second because
Yeah.
I think that I'll be right back.
Yep. All right, Magnus. What's the play?
Yes.
Is now the buyout? Are you gonna shuffle some money around first and?
I think Magnus needs to do some accounting for
Okay.
exciting as that is. So yeah, I think I do want to establish a fund for
Okay.
this activity to start off with. And I'm probably gonna start failing rolls here. So,
Well, so
I'm gonna
the nice thing about funds as well is they're kind of like a blade of health for your resources.
yes.
Because if you fail a roll and you used a fund, then the fund dies, and you don't tax your resources, I believe.
Yep. So yeah, I think I'm gonna play a little safe and only do a 2-die fund.
Sure. You're gonna play it a little safe and make a fund that's worth as much as Zach can reliably roll on a resources check.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna
except that-
I'm gonna move some money around. This is money making money.
I'm gonna play it safe and make as much money as Margreta can ever hope to roll on resources.
Well, this is a 5-ob check. It's not a small.
No, it's not. But if you succeed, you just have as much money as Margreta can ever hope to have at this point.
Yeah.
As a bonus to your usual much higher.
Yeah.
Um.
That's how
You're
business
saying
do.
Rob. Yeah.
If you had
Capitalism.
cash.
Thing.
Yeah, it turns out money is power.
Mm-hmm.
Also.
So this kind of feels like gaming the system, but if I pass this using my cash, I can then just go right into another cash generating roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Capitalism usually does feel like cheating.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
It's very accurate. This is a strictly simulationist system when it comes to the economy.
Okay. So
I wouldn't say
I'm gonna do-
strictly, but yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I'll use resources plus cash plus affinity for business.
Mhm.
This is a resource check.
Yep.
So that's a 9 versus 5.
Okay.
All
which I'm
right,
gonna
that's
fail, but we'll see.
that's
20.
doable. Whoa!
I cannot roll for shit.
Oh my god.
Damn.
I mean, I think it's been like a new round of taxes have been passed recently, and like you had projections, you definitely had this money accounted for, and there is something that these occupiers are doing, and clearly that fucker next door is some kind of relation because he knew this was coming, right? Like, that piece of shit knew that you were going to be subject to some kind of thing because it's a general store is what you're running. And effectively, there's some kind of tax in place, which is just each additional commodity group that you fit into, the taxes sort of escalate. They punish generalization to reward specialization is like this tax regime. So yeah, it's just, you look at the books and you look at them again, and it's, I mean, this tax collector, not that he's, maybe sawn in half by a blunderbuss at this juncture, is a real piece of shit, and I think part of it is you feel personally targeted here.
Okay. That sucks.
Let's see what else failing a resources test does, because it taxes.
I'm taxed for 1 die.
Okay. So you're just functionally artificially reduced by 1 at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
And
the cash is gone? Oh.
the cash is gone. So this is like, I don't know how much we want to let me game the system here, because I could easily just probably roll a 6 versus a ob 2 and get the cash back.
Yep. I mean,
hope we
it's...
don't fail miserably, but...
This is what your character does best.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to, like, restructure your business such that, like, you can dodge these taxes, then absolutely. But, so this was to generate that fund, if I recall. Like, that's what the first test was?
That was the fund generation, yeah.
Okay.
Also, they mentioned something later on for when getting rid of the taxes. There's things called resource cycles.
Yes. We haven't necessarily defined that yet. I was going to get to it in a bit, but every so often we can just elide a period of like weeks or months. Okay. And generally when we do that, everybody gets to do a bunch of practice tests, which is just, you can say like, I'm going to do a difficult administration test or whatever. And that will take some number of hours for some number of months, and say we allied 3 months, then you can make 3 months worth of a difficult administration test, and it will cost you like 6 hours a day for 3 months. And then also part of those is we also do the tax cycle, which is basically a tax collector comes by, knocks on your door, knocks on Zach's door, knocks on Mike's door, and says, hey, pay up. And then each of you make a resource test according to the property you own. And Mike is homeless, so probably has 0 taxes to pay.
Mine's ob 0 because they're convinced I'm broke.
It's not ob 0. It's going to be like -1 ob. You don't get to dodge all taxes.
Do I know?
No.
Guess we'll find out.
So yeah, that's the resource cycle, is like every season probably. And I think we decided that this was spring.
Okay, so I'm already in the hole, so let's just keep on going further in the hole.
Sure.
Let's just
Mine
try
those bitcoins.
Yeah, let's try for a smaller fund this time.
With your tax die?
With at being taxed, yeah.
Okay, sure.
So I'm rolling a 6 resource now.
Against 3?
Against 3.
And then you've got your affinity for business.
Affinity, so that's back up to 7 versus 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it a shot.
I'm actually crossing my fingers for you.
Okay, that's better.
Got there.
Cool, tax right there.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a 1 fund. I'm going to restore my cash to.
Okay. So a 2 die check, 2 obstacle check.
2 die versus, and then so now my funds I can just plug in there as an extra dice, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so that's fine. So I have my cash back. I still don't know. Well, so then you said that the difficulty for the check for buying this business was a 5, right? In
Yes.
the end?
Yes.
Okay. So I have my 6 resources,
Mm-hmm.
1 fund, 1 cash.
Mm-hmm.
I had, and I also read in the the cheat sheet that I found that since I rolled a check within a relevant wise, I get another bonus dice.
What I read for haggle is you just reduce the price by one resource obstacle.
No, but that was for the haggle skill. This is for a wise, using a wise. If you used a relevant wise or skill on a linked test, oh, maybe that's what that meant. Never mind, or skill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah. Then never mind.
What? Oh, you don't have a page reference. Let me see
No,
if I
no,
can
this is
find
like-
it, because if I
I
can make
linked
this
the
easier for you.
cheat sheet in the chat, the Discord
Okay.
chat. That's what I was using.
There we go.
Don't forget your affinity for business die.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
So-
you get to add
so-
that here too.
The reason why I said it is because in 2 different locations does it mention succeeding at a haggling test and using a relevant wise or skill on a linked test.
I don't know if haggle is. Let's say it is, because you buying out some dwarf isn't like worth pausing this over.
Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 plus versus a 5. Okay. Oops, that was a 40. No. So I have a 40 modifier.
That's way better than I was expecting.
Okay. Yeah, either way, it didn't matter. I got a 7 versus 5.
Yeah,
That was a pretty good roll.
with 4 6s.
For the 4 6s.
So yeah, you drop the paperwork. Do you personally like conclude the deal with the dwarf, or do you send a minion to do it?
No, I think I always shake on my own deals.
Okay. Yeah. The money changes hands. Do you are you buying a controlling interest in this dwarf's company, or are you just buying out the business and he gets to go fuck off back to Silverhearth?
I think we'll just do controlling interest in this case.
Okay. So you own the business and he's now your employee.
It's like my shell company or something.
Yeah.
I need to I don't do shady shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's what you tell yourself. Yeah. So you head next door, thick contract in hand, I imagine, and like a sack of cash and deeds and documents and whatnot. And first, like, all right, I suppose we're in business together then, boss. And like tosses you a sarcastic salute. With one hand as like the other hand is like disappearing this sack of money inside the folds of a shirt.
Yeah, I think I don't know how. You've clearly made the right choice in siding with me.
Money talks.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of just like patting myself on the back for making a good purchase.
Yeah.
in
Well, and
front of
like
them, basically.
I imagine, in some like back room, like the secret room adjacent to her office, the elf lady is like crossing out a like vendors to acquire thing, and she's like, "Damn it, he beat me to that one." Right? Like it's. I feel
Wine and cheese, they always go together.
right. Well, and like when you failed the persuade roll to get her on board with restarting this merchant's guild, it's not that she thinks it's a terrible idea necessarily. It's that she's going to try to do it out from under you.
Right.
So, but I mean, yeah, you've beaten her to this property, and wine and cheese would have been a pretty good synergy to have.
Horizontal integration.
Exactly. I think like a couple nights later, like it's not the same evening because word doesn't travel that fast. But you've made like a splash in Blast Heath proper. There's been a murder. The tax collector has been found dead. There are no leading suspects, though there are many people who have been rounded up, and none of them are people of interest in this in our campaign at least. Your brother expresses some consternation, the fact that like clearly all of these people are like drunk peasants who couldn't ever hope to afford a pistol, let alone pull the trigger on one. And maybe expresses that sort of thing. But you're going to get a letter from someone, and it's something like, vaguely cryptic, but cutting through the bullshit. It's like an opening move is made upon is captured, and like the Alabaster Queen fumes in her tower or something, right?
Okay.
And it's you can read, right?
Yeah, I can read. We did go cover that one last time.
So, I mean, I think this might be like a read check to see if you can tell whose handwriting this is. Is that what reading does? But like someone is like the goal of the letter you have acquired is like someone's like interested in you acquiring businesses, and either they want to enter into a partnership with you or they're looking to get purchased next.
Okay.
Drop Dead Gorgeous is a character trait. I like this book a lot.
I don't know if that's what reading does, but reading silently is +1 obstacle.
So you have to read out loud to get the check.
That's so good. Dignity of the Wilderlands. Good. Drunkard wise. Read is a later letter. Still love that Radicate is a thing. A note or sign, letter, essay, or obstacle. Okay. No, you just read the thing. Failure here isn't interesting. I think write is the thing that lets you put, or is write just actually you can actually physically write the thing?
I think writing is the. I mean, you can chicken scratch, but writing is making it look not like
Yeah.
it was done by.
Your name, Obstacle 1.
Oh, I'm totally starting a new chapter in my memoirs about the rise to the recapturing the city of Thundering Valley,
Good.
one purchase at a time.
Yeah, so you get a letter which is ostentatious. There's like a dab of something aromatic on it. And it's someone who's impressed with the fact that you have stymied the person that they have styled as the Alabaster Queen.
Right.
I'm also like making assumptions that Magnus at least looks somewhat like you and has dark hair, and just like,
I found a picture for him, so it's
Okay.
in the bio page.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you're like in this you're the like pewter king or something.
Okay.
It's like, and so it's like I await with bated breath your next move, oh pewter king, and then like signed something obsequious like your humble squire or some bullshit. This is clearly a person who is lodged 6 feet up their own ass. And we should make a note somewhere that you own this dwarf's business. Although I don't know that it's worth anything more than you're already currently.
I just threw it in the property section.
Okay.
Control and cheese shop.
Dwarf Cheesemeister.
Short order cheeses.
I was gonna name them something like something fondue, right? Like something like starts out vaguely Nordic and then goes to like fondue. Short order cheeses.
So I could have multiple funds, right? But I can only use one per check.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you could just have like a series of fund armors for your business, for your resource rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just see like, snowballing these funds and cash rolls to bump each other.
On the like Burning Wheel blog, I think I saw They were talking about the most ridiculous resources test they'd done in like the canon game of Burning Wheel, like the one that spawned the rule set that is now Burning Wheel. And it was like a 49 ob resources test, which was to like like start a bank that was bankrolling a mercenary war trying to run a coup on a country, basically. All right, we've got about 10 minutes left. If anyone has... Oh, we've got a dream.
Oh, yeah.
There's a dream to get through.
Am I falling asleep on the way to the palace, or are we going to like act like I've been turned around and have to go back later day? Either way is fine.
Yeah, I think your goats move sufficiently slowly. One of the orcs is like, boss, I don't know that we're gonna get there before. It's like, I think they know how to handle you a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're like, people tend to make more generous decisions in the afternoon, and the sun, as you can tell, is already setting. If we wish to get a better price for this, I'm sure you would suggest that we turn around to make it sound like it's your idea.
Yes. I'm like halfway through the bottle of my own wine at this point. I make excellent decisions. I'm going to just rest my eyes over here at the hat that I'm still definitely wearing, right? Sort of over my eyes as my orcish handlers turn the goats around, like turn the carrot.
No, they don't. You're already heading back home.
Oh, so I snorted myself awake, and then they told me
and you have this dream, and of course it's all like, I mean, it starts out like any other dream. I'm imagining like you're swimming in a pool of wine, but when the like sun glints off it, it's the color of gold and silver that you so richly deserve. And then it just turns wrong, like so many of your dreams do just every so often. And there's like a hand gripping tight a short blade, slick with blood. And you feel it like this hand that's... I don't even know that you have a sense of your own presence there necessarily.
Okay.
But you feel this hand sort of connect back to you, and then from you up into like the head and like the logical center of this one sort of like whole organism. And you feel the hand like pass this bloodied knife over to its opposite number. And that opposite number, like, sort of rearing back to strike again. And you know that with every strike, and maybe it does, actually. Like, maybe this other hand lashes out. You feel it strike true, but you have no idea what it struck. And it passes the blade back. And with every strike, you feel just some existential terror getting closer to this heart and to this brain, which are not controlling the hand, but like connected to it in this sort of essential, vital way.
Okay. Okay.
This is what happens when I get 4.5 minutes to myself.
All right. Allegory.
Yeah. It's also why I'm not a writer. I cannot hold much with these hands so made of ham.
Okay. Now I need to figure out how I'd follow that to glory and riches.
At this point, it feels more like a warning.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm getting. But I'm not sure in DSO the wheels are always turning.
He's got a perception above a number. 4. You're not dumb.
No. No, but like, yeah. No, clearly I'm afraid of this.
Yes.
But if I can find a way to turn it to my advantage.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I wish there was a skill. Maybe you're opening a skill that's like dream-wise to interpret your
God.
dreams. I like people opening skills.
I'm into it. I'm into opening a Dreamwise skill.
I don't know if that's like there might be something purpose-built for this. Right. Artillery hand. Good.
Clairvoyance.
Is that the one?
Sounds like one.
Because augury doesn't seem to be on there, at least not under human.
It doesn't.
Clairvoyance is not a thing. I mean, this might be astrology. Which, when you finish opening astrology, that can only go well.
Yes, astrology never has fucked anyone completely over.
Astrology forks into anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's also
You can fork
open.
astrology
are my
into
favorite.
literally. Mm-hmm.
Sadly, Santeria isn't on here.
I mean, you can call it astrology. It's not quite astrology.
That's fair.
No.
Is there like a divination? Or I mean, like you can learn non-human skills. Arcane kindness. That's a good one. Oh, these are spells, I suppose.
It's not a divination skill. Yeah, is there like an elven skill that I could be using here?
Oh yeah, because you're half elf. Good.
I am. My first pitch, I think, for traits would be Fable. See if I can walk that past the group.
I mean, then you're gonna need to lean into being like weird elfy, right?
Yeah.
Because like Fey Blooded does like cold doesn't affect you nearly as much. The hate of orcs. Good.
Locksmith. Meditation.
Let me quickly Google what the actual name of the interpretation of dreams is. Because there's gotta be like a bullshit term for it, right?
Yeah.
Divination of dreams. Oh, neuromancy.
Oh, yeah. I recognize that from The Witcher.
Yep. A folklore might cover it. That's a very, very good point. Thank you again, Bad Quail. So yeah,
Really good quail at this point.
that's at the very least they have worked themselves up to a mediocre quail at a minimum. I don't feel like assigning more quality than that. But that's really just the fact that I haven't been watching chat nearly close enough. Skill index, folklore, perception 273. So it's kind of already a wise.
Yeah, it definitely seems to function similarly to a wise.
Well, and you used to hang out with that weird witch up the mountain. Absolutely.
Okay. I'll open folklore.
Awesome.
Sure.
I don't have the magic burner, so I don't know what obstacles to define. This feels like an ob 2.
Alright. Perception.
Yep.
Folklore.
Mm-hmm.
Roll in. I can't fork anything. Base ob 2.
Mm-hmm.
Submit.
50-50 odds. No, it isn't.
No, not even close.
No, it isn't.
I have to roll 4 successes here,
Yes.
which I rolled none.
This is utterly disconnected from the poisoning. Like it could be the same actors, but it's no one has any idea at all that you were involved in the poisoning, nor your co-conspirators.
Okay.
Probably something else bad has occurred, and like
Good.
I imagine you will connect the dots when you hear the tax collector has been murdered. The late Mr. Alancia Smith murdered outside their house, leaving behind a wife and 2 children, but there's no leads in that, so really you just need to hope that I don't even know if you know Margaretta's name.
No, she was just that like mildly creepy person that was
The button,
always at the meetings.
the button woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's probably fine in the next scheduled meeting between the 3 of you. You just need to ask her to slow down a little.
Okay. I will definitely make that case.
Yeah.
I feel like I can bring some reason to the situation. Really calm things down.
Good. Awesome. Wonderful. Brilliant. Okay. I didn't expect the tax collector to be dead this quickly. I'm not opposed to that resolution. We have some end of session things to take care of. So, Magnus,
Yes.
do you feel like you made progress on any of your beliefs?
My beliefs, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I started working on a couple things, although I didn't quite drive non-citizens out of business. I did take over their business, but that also diversified my holdings.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
a couple beliefs.
Sure. So I mean, yeah, which ones do you feel like you made progress on? Certainly your third one.
Yeah, I think the third one, because I also started, I guess if you're starting the fund might be another way of saying that too.
Yep. Okay. So
did-
one fate there. Did any of your instincts get you in trouble? Or make your life more dramatic or difficult?
I don't know if the haggling the business down made it more difficult or dramatic. I mean, it was kind of an ass to the guy, but I don't think that was a.
Oh, so I mean, yeah, then did any of your trades make anything more difficult?
Yeah, I think my the traits probably the being, the self satisfaction of
Mm-hmm.
and my pride.
Yep. Cool. So that sounds like 2 fate to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oop, oop, there we go. Sorry. Margareta.
Yes.
Beep. You feel like it feels like you completed one of your beliefs, actually.
Yeah, I think I've gotten pretty close to it at least.
I mean, you did the thing. You did the action clause of that belief. You killed Mr. Alancia Smith.
What do I click there? F, P, or D? I don't know what those mean.
So you get a P, which is persona. Which you can use those to you spend it to add a die to any roll. If I'm about to kill you, you just throw that at me and say, "Nah, I survive. It sucks, but I survive." You can also use it to call on help from the forces of the dark powers.
Perfect.
Which starts getting you corruption and actual physical mutations, like a forked tongue or fur.
Or extra eyes.
Yeah.
So wait, was I supposed to check the checkboxes for anything, or is that?
So I mean, since you've completed them. I guess those are probably for during play. I have advanced towards this thing. So you don't feel like you need to check any checkboxes or anything.
So just added the 2 fate to my total. That's all I should have done.
Yep.
Okay.
If you complete a belief, we'll wipe it clean and come up with a new one for next session. So like, Margareta might be like, I murdered Alancia Smith and nothing has changed. And then like,
Must murder more.
yeah, like, is like, I'll murder more people until change occurs. Like,
I mean, I was gonna keep all change is rooted in chaos, and killing the next person is the next step on that path.
Yeah, that's entirely valid. Continuation of that belief for sure.
Eventually they'll run out of dwarves.
Next time I'll kill the women and children too.
Yeah,
I
right?
hate
Like,
sand.
Sand is a pretty terrible character in Neverwinter Nights too.
I'm Miscellany apparently, and Bishop, and I think that's literally everyone I can mention. Because I don't
Bishop's the
remember
name of that fucking ranger. I couldn't remember that one.
else. Yeah.
And then Eleni the druid. There's
Cora?
is it like Chandra's the like farmer girl who turns into a fighter?
Who dies?
Yes. Spoilers for Neverwinter Nights 2, a game that crashed when I was just about to finish it.
So does the ceiling.
Well, it's like
boss.
it was so there's the bit where like the mid boss, like Gaius or whatever the fuck his name was, he's duplicating himself and he's got like the spooky skeleton head on fire. And you realize he can't be killed. During that cutscene, I had a fatal crash to desktop and I couldn't get past it.
Wow.
Oh.
And so I was just like, cool, I'm never going back to this game because I don't want to put another like 90 hours in it to get here.
Right.
Anyways. Also
Did a
Khadgar.
half-orc druid.
Khadgar the Wonder Dwarf.
Um.
That's not his
Yeah.
name.
So, are there other things that I need to be barking?
So
but
you get
I-
one persona. Did anything else get you in trouble?
I don't think so. I mean, besides the murdering.
Traditionalist.
Or violent.
Yeah, like one of your traits, like either prideful traditionalist or violent, got you in trouble by using the pistol.
Okay.
So
Yes.
you'll get one fate for those. And I don't know if any of your instincts got you in trouble.
Where do I mark fate?
So you go to stats and skills, and you've got 3 fate already, so you'll just add 1 to that, and you've got 1 persona as well.
Awesome.
And then, we can go back to your information and then find a new belief here
Okay.
for
Cool.
next session. And then I can hopefully start putting those in conflict with each other. And Diso.
Okay. We didn't make it anywhere near my cousin, so that
Nope.
belief is not right. Money makes the world go round. I will. The latest vintage for these sort of is the word.
Yep.
Um,
Do you feel like you succeeded at that?
I feel like I sold my wine to the best shop in town,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know whether Indiso would know if he got hosed on the deal or not.
Okay. You failed at the roll.
I did.
I don't know if... I mean, yeah, I think this comes down to you. Do you feel like Indiso feels like one sack of cash and being, like, dressed down for being unreliable?
I think Indiso's pretty happy with how. Actually,
Okay,
I think he's pretty into how that went.
cool. Then, you get the persona.
And you can't get both a fate and a persona at the same time, right?
Yeah.
It's just one of the other.
Yeah.
Cool. My dreams have power, and the next one will save me is probably just simply not true.
I think that's next
So-
session,
Yeah.
if you drive towards that.
My instincts were kind of all over the place.
Mhm.
So I accept a drink if offered, inquire if none is. I didn't actually do that. I was just drinking the whole time.
Well, it was like, I will always offer a drink constantly and probably to the annoyance of those around me.
Yes, I was definitely doing that. That
Yeah.
definitely happened.
Yeah.
And then when money is on the table, I will always demand, which I definitely did,
Mhm.
and it definitely cost me. Like
Mhm.
it definitely lowered my standing at the very least. So I think both those went off at least sideways.
I don't think your first one did.
You don't think it did? Okay.
It
All right.
something related to that, like something in the same space as that did. I don't know that
Yeah.
it did. Is
No.
the thing.
All right. Cool. So
Um,
that's so I get the fate for the second one then.
Mhm.
Demanding more money. And then I go.
It would have been great if you would have demanded that she produce a better wine than the one that you're trying to sell her.
Oh,
It's like sort of like low key insult her for not having any better.
I need to lean into that. That's really good. That's really good.
Mhm.
I feel like my traits, off kilter and prideful, both came into play. I don't feel like patient or violent or traditionalist did.
Correct. Yeah, I'd say that.
So that is, by my count, 3 fate and 1 persona.
Mhm.
That will then need rewritten.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if anyone else wants to move their beliefs around, feel free to as well. Because those are flexible between sessions. There's another thing that I want to find, which I'm guessing is just Artha at end of session. Because there are workhorse actions and there are embodiment as well. The Artha Wheel 61. Artha interface, GM rules, fate persona deeds, earning Artha, instincts, embodiment. Moments like great speeches, desperate decisions, or gruesome revenge fall into this category. Who was it that I said I would give you inspiration right now if I could? It was Michael.
Mike, yeah, it's Mike.
Yeah, I feel like you get 1 persona for embodiment there. What was it you said again? I should check the tapes. Although we're recording the tapes right now.
Yeah, we can check the text later.
Right. Do you recall what it was, Mike?
I get distracted. What was the question?
When I said you get a pat on the head, do you recall what that was?
Was it about the pistols versus rapiers then?
Yes, that's what it was. And yeah, it's so there's a reward at end of session. When a player captures the mood of the table perfectly and further drives the story onward, 1 persona point is awarded. Moments like great speeches, desperate decisions, or gruesome revenge fall into this category. And I feel like you're just like, yeah, of course I can't murder this person with a sword. That's for noble folk. I feel like that
Which we
fits in here.
established this session. Noble folks have scars because they play with swords.
Exactly. Well, and, like, it's a very specific scar, right?
Yep.
So, yeah. So, yeah, you take 1 persona for that.
Awesome.
So you've got 2. Holy shit. So
Good stuff.
when you use Fate or Persona, you can record it. There's the FP and D by your skills and by your stats.
I can just click that to say that I'm using it, or
No, record how much you spend in there. Because if you spend enough, and I don't know that like we'll get enough deeds points for this to mechanically matter, but basically, if you spend enough of each of them, that's what changes the shade of your action. And lightening the shade of your action from black to gray to white means more faces on the dice count as success. So if you gray shade something, 3 and up count as a success.
gotcha.
So it's significant.
Awesome.
So yeah, keep track of what fate you're spending and where, and what persona you're spending and where. I think only Zach burned a fate this session.
I did, and I did it on circles. So.
Yeah. Oh, and circles. Does circles shade?
It's got the stuff next to it, so
There
I
you
put
go.
it in anyway.
Okay, good. Awesome. Okay. I think that's it for us this week. We have been That D&D Podcast. You can find us on basically every social media platform at social media platform thing /That D&D Podcast. We're on Patreon. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. at each of those things / that D&D podcast. We do this sort of thing twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we have interviews that sort of fill in wildcard spots on our schedule. I believe we have an interview on Saturday of this week with one
Melody Watson.
Melody Watson. I wanted to just double check that was the name.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and that'll be Saturday 6 p.m. Pacific. Out of normal time, and right here on twitch.tv / that D&D podcast, 6 p.m. Pacific, and then the VOD will go up on YouTube shortly thereafter. But until next time, I actually won't be here next week, so we'll have to find something else to fill in the spot. But until next time, I've been Andrew Otway, and the rest of you should outro yourselves.
I'm still Adam. I got nothing.
I'm Mike, and maybe Scum and Villainy.
I'm Zach, and may all your graperies be plentiful.
God damn it. Good night, everybody.